Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episode and we do more focus on economy, and especially we do focus on the micro initiative as well as different initiative of women from different country. We have our guest from uh, Singapore, from Nigeria, from USA as well as from Malaysia. First, I would like to request Sharmin. She is from Malaysia.
Hello.
Then I request Tuni. She is from USA.
Hi.
We have hello. We have our guest from Singapore, Mr. Dastan.
Hi, hi.
Hello. Yes, as well as we have our guest from Nigeria, and I request their startup teams and Joshua and his startup co-founder. And most importantly, we have our US Chamber of Commerce, as well as he's doing a lot of interesting things through the IBM televisions, and he is trying to involve with 122 countries. And he is our Professor Nick. I want to invite Professor Nick. Anyone like?
Yeah, Kalechi's back there.
Okay.
Do you want to bring Kalechi in?
Yes, definitely.
There we go.
Yes, I want to start from Charmaine. Can you please introduce yourself, because today we have different new guests from different countries. So yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is me, Sharmin. I'm residing at Malaysia at the moment, but originally from Bangladesh. Uh, I left country after my higher secondary school, so I did my degree here. I worked in an accounting firm as external auditor. Then I took a career break to finish up my chartered accountancy and masters. Uh, yeah, that's all about me.
Thank you, Charmaine. I want to go to directly. I want to ask Tuni, because she is a very powerful voice. She was in debating community as she's from Cambridge alumni, and she has very good exposures in the law, women rights, and many interesting things. Tuni, can you please introduce yourself?
I will take short time and just briefly say I'm originally from Bangladesh, now doing my PhD research at Temple University in USA. I did study law for the first couple of years of my education life. Did my undergrad in law, but later moved into social science and mostly worked in criminological research. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tini. We have our guest from Singapore. Can you please introduce yourself? I know you have a very interesting startups and you are doing very interesting business in Malaysia and Singapore. Can you please introduce yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Hello, hi. Hi,
Dance.
everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, Anson. I'm a person that has been considered a dinosaur in the blockchain space. Has been inside for around 11 years. Been part of architecturing and supporting some of the blockchain initiatives and global finance initiatives around the world. Been also part of certain central bank digital currencies. When we started, it's actually called sovereign coins and not CBDCs. Yeah, that's part of what I do.
Yes. Thank you. I want to request Joshua and your friends. Can you please introduce yourself? And especially you do very interesting work in Nigeria. So can you please introduce your robotics, engineerings, and other things with our audience? Joshua.
Okay. Hi everyone.
Yes.
Hi, go on, Joshua.
Yes. Can you introduce yourself, Joshua? And
Hi
your
everyone.
friend. Yes. Uh, yes. Your co-founders. Can you please introduce your projects? What
Hello.
you are doing? Yes. If Joshua has a problem with bandwidth, I
Yeah.
think your
Yeah,
friend
can
can.
I go ahead?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, my name is Kelechi Okorigwe Uchechukwu. I work with Zenith Bank. I am a software engineer. I'm currently doing my MBA.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Joshua and I are into a project, robotics, that is that will benefit the health sector of the world. I would love him to drill down deeply, but I can also explain it. Um, is the robotics supposed to help us to detect the symptoms, like if someone is having, let's say, coronavirus symptoms, or you're having a BP problem or sugar level challenge? Can you hear me out? Can you people hear me?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. So it's supposed to be one on your neck, and then it will be touching the back of your head. So
Mhm.
that's how
Thank
it is, like a small sports wear you can wear, that will be holding your ears, and then it will be touching the back of your neck. So
Mhm.
it's just for it to detect some, we use sensors to build it, that will help us to get signal through your brain and also report back through an app. So with the
Mhm.
app, the person will be able to be notified. It's like checking the head status of your car. For instance, let me give you a scenario whereby you want to scan your car to know if it's due for maintenance. So now we are talking about human body. We want to ensure the person does not break down, or he overlook, is going to the hospital to do a checkup. So it's something that's supposed to put you on check to know when you are due for you to go and do a checkup or to see a doctor. And
Mhm.
we have
Thank
two variety of it, that we're thinking to be able to meet two classes of people, the rich class and the poor part of the country, the poor
you.
citizens, so it can be affordable for both classes.
Mhm.
So it's something we are in for the prototype. We have the product managers, and I mean we have product manager, we have a product designer, we have embedded system guy in our team. We didn't bring them to this meeting, so that's how far I can go.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I directly asked two questions, especially Theoni and Sharmin, because Theoni and Sharmin come up with a very interesting backgrounds, because uh, both of them actually from Bangladesh, but they are highly successful in terms of academic and these activities. And in recent years, especially recently, we saw in Bangladesh, uh, for women empowerments and other things, we saw that there are some revolutions, there are many things happening inside Bangladesh. Tuni, you are a very good knowledge workers, and you have very good contribution for women empowerments, debating communities and other things. Sharmin Appa, you also have a very good contributions as well as in debating and many interesting things. Can you explain about your experience, how you like come to abroad and getting some experience from the international community, as well as what's going on inside Bangladesh for women issues, especially rape and different kind of victims. Many things happen, much people actually joining in the revolutions. Can you share the real experience about Bangladesh? Can you share your life experience with our audience? Tuni.
Got to turn your
Tuni,
microphone on. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there we
Uh,
go.
Hi. Yeah, I see, Sharif. There is a series of questions you have asked, so I prefer to answer one after another. So regarding your first question, being from Bangladesh, how did I ended up in the western part of the globe? So soon after my undergrad, I'm lucky that there are incentives in the Western world that pulls people from the other parts of the globe, and I was offered a Commonwealth scholarship. I was offered a Commonwealth scholarship to do my master's in law at Cambridge. So that was my first step. That was my first step in this abroad life. But I really try to keep myself connected back home in Bangladesh, and I do keep myself updated with the current issues in there. So every issue has two different sides. So regarding the recent incidents of rape in Bangladesh, I would say that the 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 dark side of it shows us that how intense and grave the situation is back there, and how the private sphere and private space of women are often violated. But the bright side of it is now we see how there is a revolution in against all these misdoings, all these wrongdoings, and then people are on the street. The rest of the women are on the street for justice. So as I told earlier, there are always two sides of an event that reveals in front of us, and I see both the sides.
Yes, actually, inside Bangladesh, what's happening? Millions of people right now they are in the roads, and they are actually people like those who are men. We are taking the side of the women. We want to protect our women. This is not only in the scenario in Bangladesh, around the globe, it's happening. Even in South Asia, in the North America, in Europe, many times it's happened. But now what we see that millions of people raise their voice for the woman. This is the beauty, and I want to know about the story of Sharmin and what you want to say about that. What you want to engage with this kind of revolution right now happening inside Bangladesh, and you are highly educated group of people.
Okay, thank you. Basically, it's a good thing that people are talking about it. And when there's a discourse, that's where there's a hope comes in, that people are talking about it, people will be aware. It's not only women, it's also men all over the world are there as well. So we hope that it will somehow will bring a positive change. But we also believe like because we have to analyze from the root cause, right? What exactly the real and original cause of this, having this rape, so many rape incident. I personally believe it's ultimately lies that we forgot to, put our women into a place where we can respect them. So how do we inculcate this idea of respecting women? That's one thing. And I also personally believe probably including sex education in terms of consent, what is a bad touch, what is a good touch, and how you as the individual, understand the risky factors and protection, and how we can teach our kids in terms of how you really should respect when you see your own sister maybe, and Bangladesh is a very conservative country where a lot of times even your own parents, started blaming yourself for your family's members' misbehavior or psychopathic behavior, simply just because the way you dress, probably revealing and whatnot. So these are the victim blaming is also another reason. So to solve this, I think we also should really start from the family itself. But nevertheless, I think it's a very good thing that the revolution coming. People are talking about it, but it's unfortunate that we have to, witness this many cases, and I don't know how many more, rape cases that to be, witnessed for us to fix things. But we hope this revolution will eventually, turns into a solution that where, there may be legislation might be stricter. All these things can happen.
Thank you. Kelechi, I just want to ask you, like, how you engage with your technology with the local ecosystem in Nigeria, how you actually working. And I know you are doing a lot of hard works, but still you are focusing on some technological things. You are very visionary group of peoples. You are trying to build up your computers and the robotics and different technology. So how you getting support from your local ecosystem? How? Yes.
Okay. We try to have a platform. We are building a platform that will be interactive because when you are building a product, we are building it, but we need to get the users' feedback because everybody needs to also key into the vision. They are the one using this uh, gadget we are going to build. So we will need them to be giving us their feedback frequently so that we'll be able to get the prototype right. So we are engaging the local people, starting from people around us, our neighbors, to be able to see what we're doing. So we are bringing out our 3D very soon. That's our 3D of what we're doing, so that people can actually be able to understand. Because when you speak to them, if they don't have anything they are seeing, they need to visualize it to understand what you're talking about, because it's something new. So we are building something with our product designer to ensure that they can be able to visualize what we're talking about. So once it's out, we are our platform to be able to interact with them using different social media platforms here, and also, if possible, going
Mhm,
on air when we are ready.
mhm,
Thank you. Yeah.
mhm. Yes, thank you. Mr. Dunstan, I want to ask you questions from Singapore, my friend. Yes, can you? Yes, actually, my questions to you, because you are in Singapore and you have all of the modern things in Singapore, right? If you compare this Bangladesh, even in Nigeria and Pakistan, Indonesia, you have all of the modern things, and you are getting different kind of opportunities in Singapore. Can you explain how the Singapore ecosystem for doing this kind of startup, and what the situations of women, how they actually get their freedom of speech, get their women empowerment and other things?
Okay, so the Singapore ecosystem has a public self and a private self itself. So the public self looks like it's actually very helpful for startups. There are grants that the governments give. There are quite a few, like there are VC entities. There are shared communities, like co-working spaces and so on. Yeah, so for me, obviously, I'm focusing more on tech and medical startups. So, but even then, the underlying nature of this is most of these are very relational. So what that means is this: if you are part of a group, if you know someone, if they are friends and so on, then it is easy to get access to such help, the grants, the communities and such. But if you are like, let's say you just start new and nobody knows of you and so on, it's actually not so inclusive. It looks inclusive, but it's actually executedly not inclusive. So that's the current tension. When it comes to female if it's going to be the tech space, right? There are lesser females here in our tech space, not because it's culturally not allowed or inhibited. It's more of a fact that they tend to not put themselves out there to be in the tech space when it comes to Singapore startups. That's just the common nature of what goes on in Singapore. We are an Asian community. We are considered, although we are cosmopolitan, but we are considered conservatives by nature, especially the Singaporeans. So most of the time, like people are used to going into jobs that their parents given them some social programming in. They are very it's not a very entrepreneur friendly culture in a sense.
Mhm. Thank you, Professor Nick. I have a questions to you,
Sure.
because you are running IBM Televisions TV, and you have a very good access around the world. But my question is that every country you see from different countries come up with a different challenges
Yeah.
and different issues. Singapore has some issues, Bangladesh has some issues, Nigeria has some issues. They are the highly educated group of peoples. They are getting more support from the modern worlds, from the developed nations. My question is that how we create more opportunity to these underprivileged people, how we create more better environment for these developing nations, and how they can enhance their capacity, because I believe that IBM TV has that kind of attitude. They want to help people, they want to collaborate with different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a very powerful tool at our disposal. And what we need to do, Sharif, is make sure that everybody has access to the powerful tool. And let me show you what it is. There it is. It's a cell phone, which is actually a computer. Okay, and the thing is, the amount of power that you have in the computer this today is more than what you can do to send a man to the moon. It's incredible. And not only the powerful tool, it has access to the internet, so you have access to all the knowledge in the world, as long as you can access the powerful tool, which is this little cell phone. And so what we do at IBM TV, what we're doing is we're bringing together people from all over the world, and so they can meet you here on the internet real time. So Dunkson in Singapore, we can meet just like if he was right next door. Shamin, who's in Malaysia, we can meet like she's right next door. And same with Kalechi, who's in Nigeria. We can meet right next door. And when you create a product, I was listening to Kalechi's product, okay, this thing that you put around your neck and you move around. Once he creates that product, he can actually distribute it all over the world, Sharif. You see what I mean? And this is something that the because of the internet, because of the access to computers, because of these tools, we have more opportunities than we ever did before. You just have to find the opportunities and grab the opportunities while they're there. Also, social issues are coming up, like Tunay was talking about, and Shamin, about rapes in Bangladesh. The people in the United States don't know what goes on in Bangladesh. I mean, we have to go do this to find out where is Bangladesh. I mean, that's just the way it is. And Tunay, since you live in the United States now, how Americans, if you said, go find Malaysia on a map, they would be going, oh, just a minute. We just don't know where it is. So right now, we actually do have a lot of opportunities. There's more opportunities in the world to make and have social change, technology change, and other changes that are beneficial for people. It's just a matter of recognizing technology and moving forward. And so on IBM TV, which is IBM.TV, we run programming all the time from all over the world, and we're in 122 countries, so that you can reach out like you're doing right now, and and you can address the whole world. But not only that, it's stored on our servers. So if people want to see this, they can see it 5 years, 10 years from now. They can see it tomorrow. They can see it the next day. So we go live, and also it's stored so you can watch prior programming, and you can even have people beam in. Oh, there's Douglas saying he wants a globe. Now this is really great because the audience can participate in the show. All they have to do is chat, bring them in, or also you can bring them out. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just got to find out where they are, what they do. I'm very impressed. Once again, Sharif, I don't know where you find all these talented people, but I'm very impressed that you're able to do that and have them come on IBM TV and welcome them to the 122 countries that are watching you right now.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Tierney. I want to ask you questions because, like at present situations, what I personally believe, even my personal PhD on glass ceiling factors, that we have to, even in COVID situation, we need to more focus on small economy. We need to more focus on small medium enterprise, as well as we need to give more opportunity to women, that how they can work with us, how they can achieve our national goals or our society goals. So how women can do this? You are from a very good academic backgrounds. Can you give us some motivational guidelines and the way of getting their objectives, and how we can change our social perception? Even millions of the people right now inside Bangladesh, they are fighting for women. What's your opinion? What do you want to see?
Before going into what I would want to see, I would first offer to a question when you asked, for example, like how can women work with us? I don't know if that refers to how could women work with men. Like if you say how can women work with us?
One important point, if as you are a social researcher, I just want to introduce, let's say we are count GDP, but example, if you focus on the country like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, many women actually doing household works, even their household work not converting in GDP. This is reality. Second things, women has very good contribution for family, even professions and many more things. But still, this is the fact that we are not recognizing women involvement in the economy. How we can do this?
So there are actually two way of seeing it. The first of all, do we want our women to be involved in informal sectors? That's the
Mhm,
first question. Do we
mhm,
want our women to be dominantly be occupied in informal sectors? And then comes the second question, that so first, to answer to the first question, I would say no, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't
mhm,
want that. There should be a balance of being involved in informal sectors. There
mhm,
should be, it shouldn't be predominantly women who'd be doing all the households and doing all the families. So it shouldn't be women who predominantly occupy the informal sectors.
mhm,
uh, and now secondly, if we cannot change the situation right away, and we know many times we cannot do things right away. If I say like magic, and then it wouldn't be like, okay, women would be transferred from the informal sectors to the formal sectors. It doesn't happen overnight.
mhm,
But then the second questions come. Then the second question comes as to if we should recognize the informal sectors as to count into GDP or not. And uh, to me, that's not a straight question.
mhm,
I would rather say no. It's even before thinking about if informal sector should be counted into GDP or not, we should rather focus on how to pull out these women from these informal sectors and get them involved in the formal ones.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I don't want my household chores to be counted in GDP. I would rather want myself to be involved in something formal.
mhm, mhm.
So yeah, I
No,
that's
no, no. Things are like that. I want to go to Charmaine. The things are like that. Example, many of our women, they're involved with agricultural things in developing economy, right? And like example, when economically they are more solvent and they have more control over economy, then this kind of socials, family, on many violence, what's happening around the world. It's my observations. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But if economically women are more like solvent, then this kind of things never happen. Or they have more voice to raise against this kind of discriminations and other things. What's your opinion? What do you want to say? Or if you come up with a different idea, yes, we want to put it on the
Uh,
table.
yeah, definitely, I believe that financial independence is important. It may not be the like only empowerment that we talk about, but this is could be one of the most important one. Because if you see why it's important in the first place, like what does this economic independence or financial independence bring for women, right? It brings a voice of the women, right? When it's especially like it's a very small thing, even in family matters decision making, right? Women's voice are not heard, and the reason is they don't bring a contribution to the family. So the contribution only brought is the financial contribution by the men. That's why most of the important decisions are made by them, so women are not involved. And the reason is this financial independency. I do also personally believe, like even if the women who are housewife or who are only involved in household chores, I still believe it's a valid choice.
Mhm,
But I have problem is my problem is that it's not recognized, and we always undermine, and we don't put respect for them. Sometimes even it came in my mind, like should we even have a policy of wage, giving a wage for household works for the women, so that gives a financial independency. And especially in the context of Bangladesh, right? The infrastructural is not as developed as European countries. Like let's say if I'm as a woman in Bangladesh staying, and if I want to work, so there's not enough like good childcare facilities that I can rely on. So often or not, I know it's a pressure that came to the women, but they decide uh, to forego their job or career and fully focus on child development and their family, which is still a valid choice. But my problem came because it most of the time compromise comes from the women, and society
mhm,
and even family expect or push this burden to women,
mhm,
where it should be a shared responsibility. And That's where the men always let go of not sharing. Even some of the men who don't even wash their own plate after eating, because they expect that since you're not earning money, so that's the contribution you are giving from your side. So these are the kind of behavior that should be changed. And this financial contribution brought this change because it gives a voice to the women. The moment when you start earning, you have a power to speak, power to talk. Even your husband will think twice before even coming with a abusive comments, or even to abuse you. So this is definitely an important thing, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you. My friend Dunstan is available right now. Okay. Uh, Dunstan, are you available right now? Yes. My questions to you, let's say, how actually technology
Hi
play
everyone.
roles. Yes, yes. How technology actually help us to engage with different kind of economic activities, and we have many peoples around the world now they are unemployed, even in COVID situations, highly affected by this economicals, and many area actually it's affecting right now. Even I think Malaysia, Singapore, everybody has a lot of challenges. How actually technology play roles for creating more employment? What your opinion in terms of your Singapore aspect?
Okay, so I don't just speak based on Singapore. I agree with what Nick say actually. We have the one of the most powerful tools on earth, and it's lying in our hands right now. The phone itself. We are speaking using our laptops. Most of us we are speaking using our computers. Some of us are actually using are using streaming programs on our phone itself while we are on the show right now. So what is most important is technology has allowed us a voice that can be heard. For example, especially when it comes to social media, a lot of times people in different parts of the world, they don't understand what the other people are going through, especially us in the developed nations, right? Most of us don't have, or those that don't travel enough and so on, they don't see what's going on in the other parts of the world. So there is very little empathy and very little understanding as to what goes on, and to and what is used by most countries as culture is actually, to me, a form of social programming. Now, what technology can do is it can expose anybody from any culture, any political background, any financial background, right? Because even in the very poorest parts of the world, they already now start to have access to the internet. They have access to tech itself, and this is empowering. However, the same empowerment also goes out to those who are extremely powerful. So it means that both sides are now, they both now have a tool. It's about how we use the tool. So technology is one way. So for us in the cryptocurrency and blockchain ecosystem, we actually believe that there is a new version of empowerment that's coming up, financial empowerment. Because why? No longer is currency in the powers of the regulators, in the powers of the financial gurus, the financial magnates of the world. The power has started, financial power has started distribution to the people. For example, right, I have friends in Venezuela that now are able to transact, although their economy has gone to dust. They are able to transact because of cryptocurrencies. They are able to transact because of blockchain tech. Because even right now, their banks are not allowing them to transact individually daily. They can only transact at around less than $300 per day. And this also involves like small medium enterprise businesses. So how is a business going to survive on a cash flow of $300 a day? So these are just some of the small little things in which technology has able to lift people from the depths of their despair. So this is what my world has been involved in.
Mhm. Yes, my friends from Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes. Basically, I know long time that you are also fighting against the dots. You have a lot of challenges, I know, but still you are focusing on your project developments. You are. I really, really want to give you thanks from core of my heart because you are very young, but you are fighting. You are developing your projects and you are trying to grow something new for your economy. Can you explain that how you need support from global community, how actually global community can involve with your things and how we can work together? Joshua.
Hello, Joshua. Go
Yes,
ahead.
Okay. Hello?
yes, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I think if Joshua
Yeah,
cannot
so
talk,
we
so
currently working on Earth status device.
I think Kelichi, you can take leads because I think he has bandwidth.
Like we are currently working on
Okay. Okay. Yes. We are currently on the prototyping level, and then the product development part of it as the product design and the embedded system. So at that level, we can actually finance, maybe start the financing of getting this done, like trying to get to the point of having an MVP, something we can show. But going into production or meeting those that can produce for us, we might need finance at that spread because of the scale of what we wanted to go into. The population of Nigeria, and then we have a lot of people that need this product. Even the first time we started this project, I told him that I want to have this product myself. To tell you how how viable this product is something I believe that can actually help everybody to actually know their health status. So we can drive it to a point, but we're going to need financial support at a point. So we pray we get people that we can pitch to, that will be able to listen to us and actually invest into it. But it's something I believe anybody that invested is not going to lose money because there's already markets available for the product. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nick. My question is that, like, you are working with a different community. You are working with different kind of peoples. You have involvement with different cultural peoples, and you have a very good solution, that technology. But my question is that every country has different policy, every country has different point of views, different barriers. Can you explain something, what should be the role of governments and the role of corporations in this COVID situation, because you are highly connected with the governments and with the, I think, the many big corporations. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Let's see what our audience say. Government needs to get out of the way. Entrepreneurship is a small percentage of the population. Let's get them out of the way. This is the American way. So our audience has beamed in about governments in general. The problem is, Sharif, when you're dealing with governments, is unfortunately they're there, and we have to deal with them. So since we work around the world, we recognize all the governments around the world. We have to deal with them as they come. In other words, you cannot ignore the governments of countries around the world. But what you can do is figure ways, how do you do a workaround with the government? In other words, how do you make sure that you're able to do the job you're trying to do, but have them not interfere with what you are trying to do? And if so, you could be very, very successful. Like Kalechi, like in raising funds. Let's say he's raising funds, he's creating a project, a product. It used to be the only place he could go to access venture capital would be Nigeria. But today that's not the case. He could actually get venture capital, angel funding from all over the world. In where I'm at in the United States, up in Boston, a friend of mine who founded a company called Napster. Now, you may probably never heard of Napster, but it was a pretty nice company. His name's John Fanning. He's been on our show a long time. he created a company called Net Capital to help entrepreneurs raise capital in the United States following the US rules. So the thing is, you can actually be overseas, like Kelechi is, raise capital here in the United States. And frankly, it's easier if you're raising capital internationally than you're doing domestically, and use it for his projects over there. Now, years ago, that was next to impossible to do. But today, with the access to the internet, the people in Nigeria can actually raise capital under our crowdfunding rules. It's called Regulation CF, and use it to fund his projects over in Nigeria. So we have that ability to actually have international flow of capital all over the world, which we didn't really have before using the technology. But one of the problems you have, like Kelechi has, is he may not even know that and I'm going to plug my friend John Fanning, who also founded another company, was the original investor. He wasn't the founder, called Uber. I don't know if you're familiar with Uber, but John, who I know pretty well, made his money not on Napster. That was his first venture. It went crash like your first venture will do. But his second venture was Uber, and Uber did really well. So now John's kind of set in his set in his way, set in life. But the capital is there, and you may want to go to this website, www.netcapital.com. That's a free plug for you, John. And you can actually fill out forms. You can raise capital here in the United States for your project as in Nigeria. Or Shaman, if she has projects, I can see she has an accounting background. So she goes, money will empower you, which is true, by the way, Shaman. That is absolutely true. If you're rich, the world looks totally different to you than if you're struggling. Okay, so if a woman has money, she's got a lot of power. But a way to access capital, like I said, you can do so through portals today. They call them crowdfunding portals. So if you have clients that want to access funds, and I just know the one because John Fanning's involved, called Net Capital. You go to netcapital.com, press buttons, access through Regulation CF. But the problem is, Sharif, you have to know that Regulation CF is out there. It's a relatively new change here in the United States. It did not exist, 10 years ago. You couldn't do this crowdfunding. You couldn't just go raise capital from normal people. By the way, that's what Regulation CF does. If you want private equity, a different story, like Shamin and Tani is going into an area where they need private equity, you go through another regulation called Reg D, and then you can solicit unlimited amounts of capital. And as much as people complain about capital in the United States, we're loaded with capital. I'm serious. They have more money. The people here have more money than they absolutely know what to do with. And so what they do is they buy these big homes, they squander it, to be honest with you, and they don't do anything that's really worthy of it. If I pulled my Wall Street Journal, every Friday they have the mansion section of all the money that's being squandered on these huge homes around the United States. I mean, because they don't know what to do with their money. But if they have good ideas, there are places for them to park their funds. The money flow is available, and it flows internationally today. It doesn't flow just in the United States. Some cases where Dunston's in Singapore, I know people will park, the US people will park their money over in Singapore before they move it to other countries. And Dunston probably knows that, rather than park it in the United States. It's kind of quietly done. Part of the reason they do it, Dunston, the regulations are easier over in Singapore than they are here in the United States. The tax climate is better than in the United States. So Singapore has become a international financial center of the world. But this goes back to education. If you go to school and they're not teaching you Regulation CF and how to do this, how would you know? You wouldn't unless you come to IBM TV, which then we spill the secret sauce and tell you, okay, here's how you're able to obtain the capital to move your project forward, and also here's how you do social change. Because I'm totally a believer with Shamin that as women empower themselves financially, they will become more powerful. No question about it.
Thank you. Especially Tuni, what your opinions? You are social scientist and doing a lot of research. Like, if we want to empower women and if we give them more opportunity for entrepreneurship and other things. What your opinions, and especially can you share some experience based on your experience from Bangladesh, actually how the women entrepreneurship situation right now in Bangladesh, even if you want to share something about microfinance and this kind of initiative, yeah, with us.
Uh, yeah, before getting any deeper into it, I would just put the flag on. I'm not a economic expertise, but I can definitely add up with my experiences. So, uh, for the overall betterment of women, I wouldn't disagree that empowering them and pulling them into the entrepreneurship would work. I do believe that would work, and to some extent it did work. It I have seen it working in Bangladesh while there was that microfinancing going on through Grameen Bank and other similar projects that did kind of help women. That did kind of help women who were actually actually mostly involved in informal sectors, not doing, to be straight, not doing anything formal. But that kind of gave them a pull. They came out of their boundaries. They came out of their boundaries. They started doing things on their own. They started new entrepreneurships. They build up on things. I have seen in the rural areas where women did make pretty good use of the money they got from microfinancing and really got themselves into path of being empowered. So yeah, that's kind of possible, but definitely there are other pros and cons related to that.
Yes, Sharmin, yes, I think Tuni and everyone agree with your like economical solvency is very, very important. Beside that, Tuni come up some of the things like there are pros and cons, as well as there are many other social issues and many other cultural issues. How do you want to think about this kind of social issues, especially the Asian cultures? What do you think? Even you are from a from Jamalpur, I know,
Yeah.
and but yes, you are from a small village, but step by step you prove yourself. Uh, Actually, what the scenario? What the way of getting success? How actually education play roles for women?
For me, I would consider myself privileged because I have seen in rural areas, right, where girls are married at very early age. They don't have that opportunity to continue studies. So I would consider myself as privileged. So what I believe is definitely education is the key. That it's very important, and I think in Bangladesh, right, government do provide a lot of incentive for girls' education because I remember I went to government school and it was fully subsidized by government. So I didn't have to pay anything for my school education. Even in my higher secondary school, I got scholarship also from the government as well because of the result that I had, and it was a very minimal fee. So the girls' education was always encouraged. But the problem happened, even we see like the girls are becoming educated, but when it comes to representation, right, in corporate sector or even involving themselves in a formal activity, we see lesser percentage of representation. Um, one reason is could be because like even though we like sometimes I would even wonder like probably we did not educate our son enough. Like we emphasize so much to educate our girls and to teach morals, ethics, and everything, and we kind of forgot that boys has their rules too. So that's why like in every family, household chores and raising kids and everything just came into women's shoulder, where it should be a shared responsibility. So one is education is important, and at the same time, probably some like creating different scopes for women could be an interesting thing. Lately, I have been in through social media. I have seen a lot of women, trying to be independent, even it's a minimal level. I do see in rural areas, they come up with digital marketing systems, selling handicraft stuffs. Even if it's like 100, I don't know, taka a day that they earn, but I still believe this at some point do bring financial independence to them, and they feel good about it. So in that case, probably government, even like, I don't know, could be microfinance, could be small SME, or even tech also can be helpful in this case, to get women more involved and represent in the corporate sector, or even entrepreneurship, and be independent.
Thank you. Dunstan, when I discussed previously with Professor Nick, even you differently, so I think many people actually believe that in a regular academic system do not have proper guideline for financial freedoms or economical solvency, and actually the regular education system do not work properly. Sometimes Professor Nick also come up with this point, and you also believe in that way. So even let's say today Professor Nick come up with an idea of this fundraising issue for my friend from Nigeria.
Yep.
What your opinions? Uh, it's real that actually regular education system do not give us the proper guidelines, and how do you want to what do you want to share your idea on that particular point? Because you are in financial industry, and I want to get opinion from Kelichi as well, because I think at least Professor Nick give you some guidelines. How do you want to take from your point of view? Yeah.
Okay, so starting this right, the important thing that we need to take note is nowadays, right, everything that you kind of want to learn more or less can actually be found on the internet. We actually don't need most form of formal education. What, however, is needed is discipline, execution of disciplines, actually, like execution of skill sets. For example, I believe education is very lacking when it comes to the financial part of the world. Most people do not even understand how money is created, why money has value, why is it that financial, why is it that they think they have financial freedom but you do not, and so on. And these will not be part of formal education in any sense, because well, to me and my groups of people, we actually believe that formal education is actually more of a form of social programming, rather than a form of it's supposed to enlighten, it's supposed to set free in a sense, but it doesn't do that. In fact, it provides bondages, especially in the mindsets and thinking processes of common people, you see. And why we have this thing called common people is because most of the people on earth have very similar mindsets and very similar structures, and also very similar habits that started since they were young. They were conditioned through the education system, and by the time they reach their teenage and their adulthood, these habits and these thinking processes are set in stone. And these are not helpful because they don't set them free. They don't help them rise up, and which is why, because of the current internet and because of social media and so on, you start seeing that more and more people, since now they have now access to real information. They now have access to a large plethora of disciplines. They are not stuck in just engineering, physics, arts, and so on. They even have access to like hybrid disciplines itself. And when this happened, right, they are now more free to make their own choices. And then this is why these few generations, you start seeing more entrepreneurs coming out. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Kelichi, I want to ask you, because today you learn, I think, something interesting, that yes, you have also opportunity, you have to utilize it. I want to know the Nigerian ecosystem for entrepreneurships. Can you share some things? Because Professor Nick actually come up with some of the idea which may be helpful for your business. So do you get any kind of knowledge or any kind of mentorships or guideline like this? Kelechi, can you hear me?
Go turn the mic on, Kalichi.
Yes.
Oh, so sorry. Okay, here in Nigeria, we have such support system, but they are done by private organizations like banks and some other sectors. We equally have some loan as option they offer to entrepreneurs and startups here in Nigeria by the Bank of Industry. um, it just sometimes it takes a whole lot of a whole lot to get such, and then in the process some of them are being rejected, but we have such, and we plan to also take advantage of that, in addition to what the professor told us, to be able to access support also outside the country. So this is like an eye opener. Is like this show has given us another opportunity to see it from another perspective. So it's something we are going to also look at
Thank you.
also. Thank you.
Yes, Professor Nick, my questions to you, because when I started my journey with IBM TV, always you focus on this particular point, that yes, like money masters and like knowledge on that particular area is very important for global community. But yes, for women empowerments, for underdeveloped nations or to developing nations, everywhere, how you can economically solvent, this is very important. On the other hand, we have seriously lacking of these things in our education systems, in our society, everywhere. Even culturally, we feel very sorry if someone discussing on that point, how we can become more rich, how we can economically more solvent. People do not culturally like these things, but when I first do research on you, I find that you have different tactics, different strategy. I like this point, and I think that that's why I say, "Hello, Professor. Can I join with you?" And you say, "Yeah, come and join." So, can you share your thought, especially how we can be more economically solvent, how we can help these women, how we can help these Nigerian people, how we can make better ecosystem with Singapore's? What's the strategy? What the inner beauty? Yeah.
Yeah, something starts as the education, and I agree with my counselor in Singapore, Duncan, about the knowledge is all there, but the real problem is, are they teaching the right knowledge? I agree with Duncan 100%. Unfortunately, the education is more of a socialization than it is education. There is a lot of education out there, but unfortunately, that'll help you. But unfortunately, you have to go way up into the ladder to find the people that can help you. I remember when I did my bachelor's degree, I was going, well, this is kind of a waste. I went very quickly through college. I think I skipped 3 years by testing and it was still a waste. But when I got to the MBA program, the Master's in Business Administration, I finally started getting some nuts and bolts of things I could use. Then when I got the law degree, some more things I can use, and Master's in Law even more. But the problem is the internet. What sits here has more education than all my professors combined. The real problem is that you have to be able to find that what the professor should be doing, what I do. You don't have to go to Northeastern University graduate tax program to learn what I teach in qualified plans. It's all available here. The real problem is you don't know where to go here to get the information. That's the real problem. And so when Kelechi was talking about capital, I go, there's the answer right here. Here we go, www.netcapital.com. But that's only one site. There are more crowdfunding sites than this one. And before COVID-19, I would say, Kelechi, here's where you go in terms of going to Silicon Slopes, they call it, which is in Salt Lake. They fund $300 million almost every month before COVID-19, a place to go to raise capital. So the solutions are out there. The problem is, how do you connect to get the solutions? When it comes to women empowerment, like Shamir and Tuni were talking about the rape problem in Bangladesh, for example. In the United States, we don't even know that problem exists. Seriously. In other words, and today's in the United States. If you went around, you polled all the people at University of San Diego or Temple University, they would go, "What are you talking about? First of all, where's Bangladesh? Okay, then second of all, what's the problems over there?" So in America, as you well know, for the people that live here, we believe the world exists in America. And I've talked to you about the Sharif when I was telling you about, when you were telling me about the coronavirus was being contained. I was going like, "What are you talking about?" "Well, it's contained in Malaysia." I go, "Where's Malaysia?" So I have to pull my trusty globe here, find out where Malaysia is. Now, once I found out where Malaysia was, I had to go to the internet to find out that it was contained. And so I went to somebody who's been on our TV program, the dean of Yale University Business School. Okay, who's a smart guy. If you're the dean of Yale, you're pretty smart, right? Okay, and I said, and he were talking about, well, we need to do an experiment about COVID-19 here in the United States and find what state's doing the best and how they're doing it. I said, well, why don't you go to Malaysia? And he's sitting there, what? Go outside the borders of the United States actually to learn something? Are you kidding me? And see, that's part of the as my international friends would say, narrow-minded Americans that don't look beyond our borders. And I learned to do it when I started playing international chess years ago. And being the state champion of Florida, you start going up the food chain and you start playing the national champions and the world champions. And then you realize the world champion chess isn't even from the United States. He's from Norway, because you get this bigger demographic pool. You have 7.8 billion people. So the best people and the best ideas may not come from your country. It comes from another country. Lord, other governments actually have to recognize other countries and their ideas. But it's the same thing with capital and education. It flows freely through the internet. The education does, and so does capital, freely through the internet. If Dustin needs money, I can just press little buttons and send money to Singapore. And then
Please do.
Please do. And then from Singapore, it goes to other countries, and same with Nigeria. So the thing is that the world is changing. Globalization is here. The governments will try to do whatever they do, but they can't stop it. See, that's the problem, Sharif. They can slow it down, but they can't stop it. I believe, I know IBM TV, we're in China, mainland China right now through Hong Kong. But if you say, do we go through mainland China outside of Hong Kong? I don't know. Russia has been a bit of a problem because they make you register, believe it or not, before you get on the internet. But you learn a lot about these different countries and their rules, regulations. But the internet's going to break it down. It's going to break down whether they like it or not. It's going to break down. There's going to be rapid social change, rapid movement of capital. It's all going to take place in the next decade, whether they like it or not. It's going to be here to stay. So that's what's going on. And education needs to be reformed from the bottom up, because unfortunately, when you go to school, you're learning the wrong things. Okay, you're learning. I hate to say it, you're learning, and I'm a professor at Northeastern. You're learning things that can't help you for the most part. It takes a while. Like once you go into a PhD program, the PhD program could help you. Once you can move up the food chain, it can help you. But down below, and they could teach them stuff that could help them. And when I was playing chess years ago, they said elementary kids couldn't learn chess. They just don't have the bandwidth. Do you know the biggest sector today in the world of chess players are elementary school kids? Seriously. They beat everybody. And yes, they can learn this stuff. So we need to drill down our education system to the elementary school level. And then you're going to see even more rapid change, Sharif, and start providing people with tools and techniques that will help them, not stuff that, is just 18th century. I mean, seriously, I don't know if you guys study English literature, and it's fun, but come on. I mean, it's not going to get you a job and not going to get you anything ahead anywhere. But algebra 1, 2, 3, 4, I took a calculus. Great if you're an engineer. Well, I'm sure you're an entrepreneur, which most people won't be engineers. Well, then that stuff is marginal. So you've got to bring classes that will actually help people out, and that's going to take a while. To bring our education system down. In the meantime, education is available through the internet if you know where to look. So.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Professor. Actually, we come up with a very interesting idea that yes, we have a problem with women has their empowerment problems. Women has many challenging issues. Even Nigerian people has many challenges. Even Singapore has a lot of challenges. But first of all, we have to set our goals, and our goals must need to be focused on how we can economically more solvent, and we have to come up with the different learning procedures. I think IBM TV try to ensure these things, that how you grow yourself and how you can enhance your knowledge and capacity on that particular issues. I directly want to go for the concluding remarks. I start from Sharmin. Can you go and give us some concluding remarks for today's sessions?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm really, really overwhelmed. It was interesting discussion starting. Actually, a lot of issues we cover under the umbrella of women empowerment, financial inclusion, social crime, and then we also discuss about how we, uh, in a bit of touch on the financing part, that how can entrepreneurship can be enhanced. So it was a very fruitful discussion, and it doesn't only stop to only one country. We talk about Nigeria, we talk about Bangladesh, like Asian countries as well. So yeah, the message from this discussion will be fruitful.
Yes. Kelechi, can you give your opinions, the concluding remarks for today?
Yeah, on my own case, I really appreciate this forum, and even I wish Professor can come to Nigeria. Also, we have a lot of talent here. We have a lot of people that really need, like he said, if you don't know that if you're not, you don't know what to. I mean, the guide, like someone need to guide you to do something. You might just waste all your years running around without getting any value for what you're doing. So I think I would like to also contact him after this to know if there's possibility of him extending his broadcast to Nigeria, because we really need such
He
around
has.
here.
He has.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
Nigeria.
actually do. On Friday morning, we have Mindspot that
Yes.
actually is broadcast from Lagos, Nigeria. So,
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
and
Joshua, you want to add something today
Yeah,
as a
we
concluding?
also I would like to get your LinkedIn details, but
Yes.
Dunstan told me that he's Googleable. No problem, we can find him.
Okay. 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 My
Yeah.
friend from Singapore. Yes. Dan Stan, can you give us the concluding remarks for today?
Okay, so I really believe that financial freedom is important for everyone, because of how the economy works. If a person is financially free, they can have access to so much influence, so much network. They can have they can change literally what they finally want to do in life. Like in Asia, most of us. We work our whole lives, like we work all the way to 70, 80 years old and so on, in the hope that finally there's some time for retirement. But actually, the moment you start retiring, your brain slows down, your body slows down, and so on. So and most of us are not engaged in the things that we were born to do. And I think that's really something that is a loss of talents to the world, actually. So this is where I'm coming from. Understand more about our new industry, blockchain space. Figure out there are many resources out there. Of course, the audience can reach out to me and so on. Just take a look at what's going on, and you see that even governments, regulators, financial institutes are all starting to come including capital from Silicon Valley. Yeah, I even have my own companies in which was invested by Silicon funding and so on. So these are all coming in, and these are the start of changing lives, actually. So like even in Indonesia, right, we have a group of 1 million people. They actually started transacting off the financial ecosystem on their own. This is a 1 million. This is a community of 1 million people, and this was some social experiment that we did, and no longer are they using the common currencies of the world. They're actually creating their own currencies, and they are transacting within their whole community, and they don't see a need to transact off that currency itself. So this is just something to take note of. Yeah.
Thank you. Tini, what the concluding remarks you want to add for today?
It was a nice experience. It's good to know people around the globe, and I suppose as much as the global community would get a chance to know each other, they would form the ability to be benefited from each other. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Professor Nick, I have concluding questions for you. That around the world, like every money, everything, government policy, big corporation, financial institutions, everybody running behind big countries, big people, big corporations. So what about our small economy? What about our small medium enterprise? What your advice?
Yeah, that's actually the fastest growing sector in the world. Is actually the small businesses, not the large businesses. You'll hear about the large businesses because they have large capital, they have a lot of employees, they have a lot of clout and power. But the fact is, the economic engines that are driving the world is not from the large business. It's from the small businesses, the startups, the ecosystems. That's moving the economy. And then, hey, Sharif, these small businesses become large businesses at some time. Apple was not a big business 40 years ago. Neither was Facebook. Facebook didn't take off till 2004. It's only about 10 years, 10, 20 years old. Yeah, these are all new businesses. Microsoft, oh, that's an old bit. It's only been around for what, 30, 40 years, Microsoft. So what happens, they were all small businesses at one time, and then they took off to be huge businesses. Uber hadn't been around that long. So when you're engaging in the small business market space, what you want to do, what that's where all the opportunities lie. I hate to say that, but that's where creativity takes place, and that's where you'll see innovation, and you'll see where fortunes are made. The problem is our education system doesn't teach people about that. In other words, the secret sauces that we show you here on IBM TV, unfortunately, you can go to school for a long time before a teacher will go to netcapital.com. Okay, they won't even say that. And part of it is this, honestly, they don't know. Okay, they don't know. And when I say that, the elementary chess kids, the reason they're doing well isn't because the teachers are teaching it. The teachers didn't know. The chess players infiltrated the education system and started teaching people chess. What you need is actually the entrepreneurs to infiltrate the education system to teach entrepreneurship, because your teachers don't know. I'm very sorry, but that's the truth. And I'm sticking to it.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Nick. That is the things always I try to come up with this message with different people from different countries, different cultures, different point of views. Always, I believe personally, small is beautiful. Less is more. When we focus on the small things, and we do focus on the economical developments, then we can grow. Especially this COVID periods, as a economic student and researchers, I can say that next 5 to 10 years there will be massively change in economy. Believe me, many big corporations, they go down, many small corporations, they grow very fast. Technology will take place, education system massively change, as well as, most importantly, how we develop our policy, how we combine, making a combinations of our policy with the combination of capitalism, with the combination of socialism. Many things will change this COVID periods. So I want to request everyone, let's focus on this small economy, let's focus on this small people, respect women, give them proper respect, proper support, and by this way we can grow our proper economy. And this is the ultimately the learning always I try to share with my audience. Small is beautiful, less is more. Those who joined today, I want to give you thanks. Those who watching today, please be respectful about women, and please love and give proper support to the small business and small peoples, and next 5 to 10 years you can see many changes will happen and you will be part of that. Thank you everyone.